time. Never thought I'd make it 2 times. Never thought I had a boo that would tell me she had the same thing with a few guys. Always saw it special, always saw potential, always thought that she was the one. Now I see she just a girl with a gun. Type of bitch she like to blow you for fun. I don't think she was in love with me in the first place. I don't think she was in love with me in the first place. Fuck that, I'ma fuck up my room, cause a dumb bitch when it fucked up my mood. I don't trip, I'ma go and fuck with you too. I don't trip, I don't want another like you. Hey, fuck.
There we go, nice drop, let's go. Hitting 402s again. Huge rejection on the 10-minute right here. Beautiful. So we didn't quite close the gap, but that's okay. Yeah, you could just tell price action, like we were heading higher, but the price action wasn't necessarily strong. We kept getting these rejections with these big wicks. Put call was also rising while the price was rising, and ticks have been pretty much negative. I haven't seen them be like positive 500 or anything above that. New low on SPY there. Nice. Up 167%, up 40% on the other ones. Nice.
Coming on down.
Alright, what's up, boys? I'm sorry I didn't do much recording today. I actually didn't film any of my trades today. But that's mostly because most of them were swings. I did have 2 SPX scalp. In between all that, they were both pretty solid winners. They were not too big. They were like, I think one of them was like a 5% win. The other one was like a 10% win. So nothing too big. And so far we've had a very solid past couple of days. I think in the past 3 days we're up over 10% on the account, which is insane. That's insanely good for me. So we're having a really great end to August here. And most of that is due to the fact that we've been having these trending days to the downside. And we've caught a nice portion of that. So here's my new adjusted positions here. So I'm still holding some 400 puts for September 2, but I did end up closing the 402 puts today. I ended up closing these at 200%, somewhere around here. I don't remember exactly what candle it was, but it was somewhere around here. We caught 200% on the last final contracts there. I did sell a bunch of them yesterday. Actually, no. I did not sell any of them yesterday. I sold some on Friday, and then I sold the rest of them today for 200%. But I still have some risk on for the downside with these 400 puts here. So I'm not fully out on the puts yet for the swing, and we've played it very nicely. Yesterday was also like a 2% day. Plus, Friday ended up being like a 3.8% day, which is insane. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Not too many intraday trades. These 400 puts, I ended up adding them yesterday actually. So all day yesterday I was adding puts here in this 405 range. Anytime I saw price get to this point, I added puts right here. That was my zone right there. And we'll look at the trading view chart to show you guys why I was doing that. So first I want to go to on the hourly chart, because remember I told you guys on Friday, you know, I didn't get to fully load up on my 402 puts initially. Remember I told you guys I had only established a 30% position as opposed to the full position I wanted to put on, and I put that on I think somewhere around this range I put them on. Let me zoom in a little bit so I can see where I put them on. No, I actually put them on somewhere up here. Yeah, somewhere up here I put those on, those 402 puts, but I only managed to get in 30% what I wanted to. We saw a nice sell-off end of day. They ended up closing around like 90%, 100%. Yesterday didn't move much. At open, they were up like 120% because we got a slight gap down, but they didn't go much after that. And then today they hit 200%. So I ended up selling them because they were nicely in the money, and I had already added the 400 puts. So I'm like, I'll just leave those on. I'll realize some of the gains here. And then if we do see further downside, those 400 should cover me. So yeah, I had those around here, and then once we got the big move down and I was already up 100%, unfortunately I wasn't ever able to establish my full 100% position that I wanted. So I had to live with that fact. We still ended up making some decent amount of money, and then I told you guys I would establish a brand new put position for a swing once we got that first hourly bounce. Crazy stuff, but again, there's not much I can do here. I'm not going to chase it down here, although we can drop much lower. We need to wait for that one big bounce, like on the 4 hour or something. 4 hour has been straight down. Let's see, 2 hour straight down. We need that first hourly bounce, and then, you know, whatever that takes us to here, to here. Doubt it. If it takes up here, that would be insane. I doubt that's gonna happen though. Probably somewhere around here, and then that's where we'll load puts, and then for the next major leg down. Or we can just continue down. And that's exactly what happened. So we ended up getting this hourly bounce. We bounced all the way up to 4,070, so it's a bit higher than I expected. I expected us to stall around the 4,050 zone, maybe 4,060, but we ended up hitting all the way up to 4,070. But that's okay. Once we did hit the zone though, I did start establishing puts. One of the reasons was because that was right where the 4 hour 9 EMA was coming into play. So as you can see here, once we made that hourly bounce, that 4 hour 9 EMA came into play, and that's where we were touching, and we started rejecting. Like if we look at yesterday's price action, every time we made new highs, like this is the first time. Okay, so we made new highs here, we wicked back down, had a strong move down, made another new high, came back down, made a new high, came back down, made a new high with the wicks here struggling, came back down, made a high here, came all the way back down, new higher, came all the way back down. So that's why I felt confident establishing a put position up here. Also the fact, like I said, like it correlated with the 4 hour 9 EMA. Ticks weren't really all that positive. In fact, we were getting pretty negative ticks yesterday. And the final thing that gave me conviction on this was the fact that it correlated with the fib retracement. So we'll pull up the fib right now to show you guys. So if you draw from the top here to the bottom, right there, you can see that it was a perfect rejection off the fib here. And so that made me even more confident. There was a chance we could go all the way up to the 0.382 fib, but I thought it was unlikely. And if we did, I still could end up adding there, because I ended up building the position up to like 80% of what I wanted to. So it wasn't exactly full position, but it was pretty close to full position. It was much better than the 30% that we were able to get on the up here one. So I started establishing a position there. And then end of day yesterday, we ended up getting a nice close here that was pretty weak. So I like that. But then we actually ended up opening up today after we saw a pretty massive spike in futures market. So this is all the action here that happened after hours yesterday, like into the futures market and the overnight stuff. So it's kind of odd. I was watching the futures market and that kind of shook me up a little bit. But I wanted to wait to see what happened to open, because you know, futures action, it's kind of important, but at the same time it's a little bit irrelevant, because you're not seeing the full volume. You know, the real action is going to happen intraday when everybody's watching the market and everybody's playing. This was happening like in midnight. So it was a little bit worrying, that fact that we were up like 0.80% in the futures market. NASDAQ was up like a full percent, if not more. But right before open, we started coming back down, and then open was right here. So at that point, we had to come back down. We were basically opening at the same price we closed at yesterday. So I think I ended up opening a little bit red on the position, or maybe a little bit green, basically break even. And then right away we started seeing some selling pressure, so that made me a lot more confident. So I held onto the position. It would have been a little bit smart to add a little bit more risk, because like I said, I wasn't full position, so I still had like a 20% margin to add more. Or I could have also played it with shorter term expiration like SPX and stuff like that. I saw some people absolutely print on SPX today. Not gonna lie, I kind of felt FOMO with that. But it's all good. It's all good. So if you guys can see here on the action here on Webull, we pushed all the way up to 406.68, but then right as we were about to open, we started pulling back, and then pretty much right away we started seeing these red candles, pretty heavy. And then we had a really nice move all the way down here. Once we broke 400, it really got going. So that was a really solid move, and that's why I decided to sell out of the 402s. I was happy with the profit, and I had added the 400s, so I got out of the 402s, basically rolled them over to 400s, a little bit riskier of a strike. That way I could just realize some gains and then still be in a put position, basically. I'm still holding these 400s. I've scaled out a lot already because we got a nice move. And now my target is basically, if we can see 3950, that's my current near or short-term target. And then obviously we're going to head into this demand zone. I think it's going to be a lot to ask for it to break through this whole zone this week, so I'm not really expecting that. I think we've got a big bulk of the move that's going to happen this week already, but I do still think we can see 3950, which will give us another 26 points on this. These can potentially go up to like 150%, which would be nice. But yeah, essentially those are the plays I've been taking recently. Sorry for again like not recording too much. It's a little bit hard to record these type of trades because they're mostly like swing type of trades. They're not really day trades. There was a couple scalps here and there, but most of the majority of the profit was made on these swings. So hopefully you guys still were able to get something out of this, you know, from my explanation. And yeah, hope you guys have been banking. There's been tons and tons of opportunity to the downside here. Yeah, it's great. Peak all back up to 1 here. It opened actually pretty low today. It opened around the 70s, 0.70s, and it's climbed all the way back up to 1. So that's good to see. I think we could see something similar to Friday here, where we see some continuation end of day. So that would be exciting to see. These 400s would absolutely print. And you know, if we start speeding up to downside, might add some of these 3970 or lower SPX puts, so we can capitalize a little bit more on that momentum. But for now, I'm just waiting. It's currently 10:33, so about an hour 30 minutes till power hour. So I might turn on the mic then, and then we might play around with some SPX. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Super solid last 3 days. Insane.